So welcome back to my channel. This is Dom and I'm a bit intimidated. I've got to do some sci-fi figures and I've never done anything like this before in my life. Oh my god. So those of you who listen to the Plastic Crack podcast with Ken, Martin, myself and Steve do every Monday on YouTube, 8 o'clock UK time. Be there, be square, all that kind of crap. Just talk about the wargaming hobby for 2 hours on a Monday night. Just a chance to get away from the real world, all the rubbish that's going on, and focus on the thing we love. Now, Ken came up with the brilliant idea that for Christmas this year we should do a sort of secret Santa amongst ourselves. We should all come up with 3 things that we wanted to somebody to do for them, and that we would randomly draw which of those 3 things and who got to do it. So basically I drew Steve on Point HQ, and he asked for, or the one that came up of his options were some Konflikt 47 German figures. So I got the job of painting up Konflikt 47. So at a minimum spend to amount of spending to spend. It wasn't a huge amount of money, and I bought these 2 packs from Warlords. This is German Heavy Armour Platoon Officer Group, and this German Heavy Infantry with LMGs. Konflikt 47, for those who don't know, and I had to look it up, is basically like bolt action, but imagining the war has continued and more advanced weapons are available. There's also, I believe, spooky things, vampires and that sort of thing. So Steve's mad about the German. He does loads and loads. His bolt action stuff is predominantly German. He does do others as well. So he wanted to try this, and I don't believe he's got any Konflikt 47 figures. So this will be his first one, and this is quite intimidating because he's a really, really good painter. So I'm going to do something really special here. Plus, I'm starting him off. So, hopefully, if I can get it right, he might follow the colour scheme I'm using. And I'm kind of thinking, look at these figures. They're kind of robotic-y types, or sort of men in armour types. And I'm thinking I'm going to do the kind of follow the idea of Star Wars. But instead of doing white, to do black, because they're the evil. I assume they're evil, because everything black is evil. So I'm thinking these fellas are going to be... Oh, wow. These are going to be, yeah, like Starship Troopers. Oh, look, there's a guy, his head's already in there. So this pack, as I say, this is this is the Platoon Officer Group. Get 3 figures. These guys haven't got any heads on, but they're there, so that's good. And this guy has got his head and an arm already attached. They seem to have some sort of backpacks. There's a very distinctly German submachine gun there. No idea what they are. And there's another machine gun. This is going to be interesting, isn't it? Right. First of all, let's put these ones together and have a think about how I'm going to do them, and I shall be back. So I've kind of overdone it, and I've channeled my inner Steve here. Yeah. So if you watched on Point HQ's channel, Steve, he is always doing these massive bases. And real dioramas on every figure. So I've channeled my inner Steve here with this base so far. I just got out a big MDF base, stuck them down, spaced them out, so you can see the figures have gone together really easily. I mean, the arms on the 2 figures are interchangeable, but just clip on really, really simply. This guy has his, I guess it's a map book, and his SMG under his shoulder, and the 2 heads are interchangeable, and then the backpacks similarly. This guy's got a Faust, well, I guess it's a Faust. Looks very much like a Second World War Faust. Obviously more scientific now. Excuse me. So I've been into my bits box and picked up some, this was an old limber of some sort. I think it's from a 20mm anti-aircraft gun. There's some bricks. These were bricks that I picked up on the internet. I actually got them too big. I didn't mean them to be quite that big, but stuck some of those down, and then I got some smaller bricks, which are more in scale. These are little MDF offcuts. Stuck them down around. Got some things like an old rifle here. Stuck that in. There's an anti-tank rifle and an old wheel there. There's a ammunition box there, and just other macabrely coming out from this rubble here is a Russian arm with SMG. Some poor soul has been buried in there as the German officer walks past. Built up the base a little bit with some polyfiller and secret sauce. Now this is Seventh Son's fault. Martin, I was just showing him what I was doing. He said, "Don't forget the couscous." So that's couscous. So the gravel is couscous. And this is a bit of an in-joke. So Martin was referencing this on one of the podcasts. Not Martin, Steve was referencing and saying how he was getting a bit obsessed with the materials he was using to make bases with. And he had been having couscous for dinner and thought, oh, this would be good for basing. You know what, it actually is. So all I've done is just use lots of MDF and stuck the couscous down on it. And then it's obviously all been primed grey. So, oh my goodness. I'm now looking at thinking, I should have kept the figures separately before I did it. But hey, never mind, we'll get round it. So I'm going to do some painting and we'll be back. So next up, for the Secret Santa type thing, I got this box, as you saw, of German heavy infantry with LMGs. So let's have a look at these fellas, see what these are like. Packed for me by Donica. New name, haven't seen that one before. I know some people collect those, don't they? People collect everything. So what do we got here? We've got two men in the heavy armour. One's sort of fast walking and one's just trudging. Two different heads. My goodness, like robot heads those are. Yeah, okay. Two backpacks. Does that bit come off? I think that must be flashing at the bottom there. I have to check, but I think that is supposed to come off. And a pair of LMGs. Oh, so they don't have a loader in this era. Oh, you see, we've gone up. Things have got more serious in the future, and they don't need a loader. So there's the guy. So the arms just appear. Get the body around the right way. Yeah, it just slots in there. Okay, that's straightforward. And this guy, similarly. There we go. Okay, well, I'll do some gluing and decide how we're going to set these two up. I'm not going to go quite to the same extreme. Well, maybe I will. I found a few more bits and bobs I can utilise. Oh, this is going to be fun. Back when this is set up, and yeah, I'll show what it looks like. So progress update. Oh, these come together really nicely. I'm becoming a bit obsessive about them, to be absolutely honest. First up, basing, I used this stuff, Cote d'Or Dark Earth, quite watered down. Just put it all over the base, and then I dry brushed with Iraqi sand over where the couscous is. The models themselves, just basically used the contrast paint Templar Black, picked out the skin tone. Believe it or not, there's two skin two different levels of colour on the skin. Not that you can really see it. Did the whole outside of black, as I say. On these guys, on their LMGs, I wanted them to really be very futuristic, so I used a sort of stainless steel colour from Vallejo. Shoulder pads, I wanted the colour there with a little bit of gold hidden in there. So you see the same on these guys. Picked out a couple of bits of detail of gold on these fellas. You can see his book's done. I might try and put some writing on the page. I'll see how brave I feel. I dry brushed the figures with shining silver from Vallejo, just to give it that sort of tinge. And then they've all had a wash with Nuln oil. So I've obviously done the bricks and the balsa bricks here, painted up the trailer, the rifle, the arm sticking out of the pile of bricks here. That needs a little bit of touching up and work. I'm going to brighten these back up a little bit. I'm sort of debating. I want them to be moody and dark. I'm going to put a bright varnish on this, so gloss varnish over the main parts of the figures, just to make them really shiny. Not really shiny, but a little bit shiny. That sort of effect that Star Wars troopers have. I'm going to do the basing next. I'm still debating whether to put a little bit more colour into the troopers themselves. I might retouch up the red, make that more vibrant again, because the wash has obviously dirtied that down a fair bit. Maybe that should do enough, I think. There's a couple of bits of detail on the backpack, which just give a hint of colour, but not. So there's a sort of very dark green here in the back. I used brown on this ammunition pouch and this brown within the backpack itself. Also these oxygen tanks or whatever they are on the back, I've done a brighter silver, which now has been toned down with the wash. But yeah, I think I'll finish these. I'll do a bit more work on them, do a bit more edging. Maybe I could do some, particularly around the officer. Maybe I'll do some edging around his armour, just because he is an officer, just to make that pop a bit more. I'm definitely going to touch up the shoulder pads on these figures and finish off the basing. I'm going to put some flock down and some tufts. Oh well, we'll have a play. Be back in a bit. So there we have it. There is the final models finished off. And I'm really, really pleased with how they've come out. So just to finish up what I've done, the couscous, I basically used wet mud effect from Army Painter on top of that. Sort of like a heavy dry brush, but that kind of thing. So you've got, it just covers it nicely, but doesn't completely blotch it. The other areas where there wasn't the couscous, I've used Luke's APS City Rubble basing material and put some tufts in amongst it, just for the effect. Everything had, as you saw, a dark wash put over it, and then what I did was then retouch up the red bits of the armbands. Also did red band around the squad leader's cap, and some edging around some of his plates, armor plates. Everything had a really good spray varnish, which is a matte one. And then because, as I said at the beginning, I kind of in my mind had the idea of a sort of black versions of the Starship, the evil Empire's, foot soldiers in Star Wars. So I used a gloss varnish on top, just to sort of bring the shine to the armor and the red bits on the soldiers. But I didn't do like the hat of this commander or his book or the backpacks on any of these guys. I left them exactly as they had been with the matte varnish. And I kind of like the effect. I didn't do the weapons either. I just left them matte as well. I'm really pleased. Really pleased with how these come out. I hope Steve does too. I hope he's pleased with my efforts. Sort of a nod to his massive bases and his amazing use of some very odd materials. And definitely a nod to his bit box, which, as you know, if you watch any of his videos, he's always delving into his bits box to pull out some bits. So there's a few bits on here, just to sort of say nod to the work he does. I'm not going to lie, I don't feel that they're going to really be the same class as his painting. I'm kind of happy with them. I think they've come out quite nice, and I don't know whether he'll use them in his army or not, but they were fun to do, and I hope he appreciates them. Yeah, it's been great fun this year, so here's to you, mate. Steve, thanks very much indeed for all the interaction and all the fun we've had in the on the Plastic Crack podcast on the Monday nights. Here's to 2021, and hopefully you get a chance to finally get some games in, because I know you've been suffering withdrawal symptoms, shall we say. If not the meeting people outside, because I don't think you're too concerned about that, but it's the gaming for sure. So, and hopefully it won't be too long before we all meet up and say hi in person. Anyway, there you go. That's my Secret Santa gift for Steve. I'm going to box this up, send it up to his home address, and maybe you'll get it before Christmas, maybe you'll get it just after Christmas, but I shall, hopefully he'll enjoy it. Anyway, stay safe, stay well, happy Christmas to everybody, all the viewers, all the people who support the channel, support our channels, the four of us who put together the Plastic Podcast. Really appreciate everything, as I said before. So thanks so much for all your support. And here's to a really, really good festive period. And here's for God, it better be a better 2021. This is Dom signing out and wishing you happy, happy seasonal greetings.